Ethan lived an ordinary life in Colorado, surrounded by tall mountains and quiet forests. Every day looked the same. Late mornings, half-finished plans, and a feeling that nothing would ever change. To others, he seemed fine, but inside he felt stuck and restless. Then one small choice, so tiny it almost went unnoticed, started a chain of events that changed his entire world. That single step turned into a journey no one, not even Ethan, could have imagined. The way it unfolded will leave you surprised. What happened next will shock you. In the heart of Colorado, where tall mountains touched the clouds and the wind whispered through big pine trees, lived a young man named Ethan. His life looked peaceful from the outside, but inside, he felt lost. Every morning, he woke up full of plans, but by night, he had done nothing. To his friends, he seemed okay. But deep inside, he felt like a stranger to himself. He didn't know why he kept wasting his time. Then, one cold morning, something small happened that changed everything. A simple choice, one small action, started a story that would change his whole life. Ethan's small house stood at the edge of a quiet valley, with tall mountains behind it. He was 26, smart, and full of dreams, but he never acted on them. His notebooks were filled with sketches for a studio he wanted to build, but they just gathered dust. Every night, he said, "Tomorrow I'll start." But when morning came, he got lost scrolling on his phone, watching people who seemed happier and more successful. The world outside was beautiful, snow on mountains, rivers shining in the sunlight, but Ethan couldn't feel that beauty anymore. The more he ignored his dreams, the heavier he felt. He told himself he was just tired, but deep down, he knew the truth. He was afraid of failing. One cool autumn evening, the air smelled of pine and falling leaves. Ethan went for a walk in the forest. He said he just wanted fresh air, but part of him hoped nature would give him an answer. After walking a while, he saw an old woman sitting on a rock, writing in a brown notebook. Her silver hair shone in the sunlight. When their eyes met, she smiled kindly and said, "You look like a man carrying too much noise in his mind." Her name was Professor Elena, a retired psychologist who loved hiking. Something about her calm face made Ethan open up. He told her everything, how he felt stuck, how he started things but never finished them. She listened quietly and then said, "Your future is hidden in what you repeat. One small action you do every day is stronger than all the big promises you never keep." Her words hit him deep inside. "Think about it," she said. "What small habit could change your path?" They walked together until they reached a sunny clearing. In the middle stood a tall tree, a sequoia. It was huge and beautiful. "That tree," Elena said, "spent years growing roots underground before anyone could see it. No one saw the hard work happening below the surface. People only admire the tall tree now, but the real growth started where no one was looking." Ethan stared at the shining trunk. The idea of growing quietly, slowly, made sense. He realized that his own progress didn't have to be fast or big. He just had to start. "Small roots," Elena said, "make strong trees." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The image of the sequoia stayed in his mind. Before sunrise, he made a small promise to himself. He would wake up just 30 minutes earlier every day. The next morning, when the alarm rang, he didn't want to move, but he remembered Elena's words and forced himself to get out of bed. When he stepped outside, the mountains were glowing pink under the morning sun. The air was cold and fresh. For the first time in a long time, he felt alive. Not changed, but awake. In the days that followed, Ethan added more small habits. After work, instead of lying on the couch, he walked to the river with a book. he read for just 10 minutes while listening to the flowing water. At night, he wrote 3 small goals in a notebook. Simple things like go for a walk, read, and breathe. At first, it didn't feel like much, but slowly, he started to feel proud. Each small win gave him a little spark of confidence. Then winter came, and it was hard. Snow covered the trails, and the cold made it easy to give up. Some mornings he stayed in bed and didn't write in his journal for days. He felt like a failure again. But deep inside, he remembered Elena's lesson. The sequoia's roots never stopped growing, even in the cold. One stormy night, as the wind howled outside, he looked at the fire and whispered, "Not today." It wasn't loud, but it meant he would not quit. That simple whisper became his strength. When spring came, the snow melted and the rivers flowed again. Ethan stepped outside and took a deep breath. He started rebuilding his routine, one small step at a time. He began using the 5-second rule. When he didn't want to do something, he counted backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and acted before fear could stop him. He wrote little notes of gratitude each night, saying thank you for simple things: warmth, friends, health. During his walks, he left his phone behind and listened to the wind and the birds. Every little habit started changing him from the inside. He wasn't a different person yet, but he was becoming one. And one day, he realized the truth. You don't build your life in one day. You build it with small steps that you repeat every day. Weeks turned into months. What started as a small effort slowly became a natural part of Ethan's life. He didn't need to remind himself to wake up early or write his goals anymore. It had become a habit. One cool April morning, as he stood on a hill above his cabin, the wind blowing through his hair, he suddenly realized something big. He hadn't changed all at once, but he had changed. The man who used to be scared of failing now believed in small beginnings. Elena still walked the mountain trails, and one morning, Ethan saw her again sitting under the same big sequoia tree. She smiled when she saw him. "You kept going," she said. Ethan smiled too. "I almost quit so many times," he admitted. Elena laughed softly. "That's how you know it was important," she replied. They sat together, watching sunlight dance through the leaves. "You were right," Ethan said. "It wasn't about big goals or feeling motivated. It was just about showing up every day." Elena closed her notebook and said, "Consistency is quieter than motivation, but it lasts longer. You don't force discipline. You grow it, one choice at a time." Those words stayed in his heart. That summer, Ethan finally opened the small design studio he had dreamed of for so long. It wasn't fancy, just one cozy room with big windows facing the valley. On the first day, he hung a photo of the sequoia tree above his desk. At first, only a few clients came, but he didn't give up. He treated each day like caring for a garden with patience and effort. The studio became more than a workplace. It became a symbol of how he had changed. The same man who once wasted time now helped others find focus and peace. He started sharing his journey online, not as a teacher, but as a friend reminding others that real change starts quietly. People from around the world sent him messages saying they too had started waking up early, writing in journals, or taking walks because of his story. Even after success, Ethan never forgot where it all began. Every year, on the same date he first woke up early, he returned to the mountain trail. Sometimes he met Elena, sometimes not. But the tree was always there, stronger each year, its roots growing deeper. Just like Ethan's habits. One calm autumn evening, He placed his hand on the rough bark and whispered, "Thank you." He didn't know if he was thanking the tree, Elena, or himself. But maybe it didn't matter. He had learned that growth isn't about being perfect. It's about trying again, forgiving yourself, and believing in small steps. As the sun went down behind the mountains, the valley turned golden. Ethan felt a deep, peaceful happiness, not loud or dramatic, but quiet and real. He finally understood something powerful. Life doesn't change through big moments. It changes through small choices that most people don't even notice. That's the real magic of small habits. They don't force you to become a new person in one night. They slowly guide you toward the person you were always meant to be.